Play the popular Coast to Coast Pick 5 and the new Sunset Pick 6, featuring the last 3 races from
Gulfstream Park Santa Anita Farm. A $1 minimum.
Retail only wagers. Coast to Coast Picks every Friday through Sunday.
And they're calling it Carryover City, Carryover Central, anything you want to call it. Barry Spears on Friday. There are 4 carryovers at Santa Anita, and then a couple of them that are involved with the Santa Anita and Gulfstream wagers. You've got the $2 pick 6 carryover at Santa Anita, 45 grand. You've got a super high 5 carryover at Santa Anita, 35 grand. And then you and I are going to dive into the Coast to Coast pick 5, $1 based wager, 5 races from Gulfstream and Santa Anita. They have a $48,000 carryover. And then in the Sunset pick 6, which is the last 3 races from Gulfstream and Santa Anita, there's a $54,000 carryover. So take your pick, Barry, if you like the multi-race wagers, pick 6, pick 5, 2 different tracks, or maybe you want to play the super high 5, whatever you want. They've got carryovers on Friday.
Yeah, lots of action. I know that that Sunset 6 is a really tough
It
bet,
is.
man. I think because it's new in the way that it uses those last 3 races, it creates a different kind of strategy. But I haven't solved it yet, but I'm going to take
We're going to get there. I had one that I was alive last week to going into the last race, and then the horse just didn't get out of the gate there, but set myself up and put myself in a good position. We're going to hopefully help you all out and put you in good position to take down this Coast to Coast pick 5 on Friday from our friends over at First Racing with all these fun wagers and that low takeout, 15% takeout, dollar minimum, and it's 100% carryover. So if nobody hits this thing, there's no consolations. They pay out really, really well. And if you're looking at the Daily Racing Form, there's a section that has the Coast to Coast pick 5 already set up for you. So you can just go right through the sequence as we are going to do right now. Gulfstream Park, Friday, October the 10th, Barry. And we get started with the 5.5 furlong lower level claiming race. These are fillies 3 years old or 4-year-olds and up, which have never won 3. They're at the $8,000 level. Who do you want to start with here? Who are some of the horses who you need on your pick 5?
Yeah, I had a tough time getting around Girl Dynamite, who I think will probably be favored, even though this horse is 3-1 on the morning line. I think the body of work is better and probably has a better setup in the race tomorrow than the other horse who's 2-1 on the morning line, the 2 fully entitled. Girl Dynamite has some speed, and usually in these races, there are a lot of horses that can't pass, and Girl Dynamite should get out and go. Blinkers on. Carlos David, Jaramillo, all signs point to this horse going to the lead and trying not to stop. But there's some other horses in here that could contend, like the horse outside of that one, Eva, I think has a lot of zip. And also the 8 horse, Mama Drama, I think being fresh and having run since July, I think that one might end up kind of getting in the pace, which leaves horses like Brenna as a horse that's really interesting.
I have to use her because I agree. Look, just from a class standpoint, when you look at the bulk of her career, it was against better. And then when they dropped down to the $8,000 level, they found this was the right level on July 18th. Shows you she wins that day. Then the race on August didn't set up for her. She was off slow, but she fits here. She just needs a bit of a trip.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think she'll get it because there's going to be quite a bit of pace, I think, up front. These horses, like I said, they don't really like to pass. Brenna kind of seems like that's the only thing she wants to do. I know she did win going wire to wire a mile in July, but I mean, she was clearly the best in that race.
It's slow pace, no other pace type thing, right? Yeah.
And she kind of jumped the gate, got out, and just took them. I do like the apprentice jock getting on this and a little bit of a weight break here. Could make all the difference in a race that's kind of evenly matched.
You can start going through and making cases for a lot of them. Like the 4 Spicy Guacamole could sit.
Yeah, that's one I not just cold on completely, because this horse has had his chances at this level.
It's not a
likes
machine.
To finish second a lot, And 7-2 seems awfully short on a horse that really doesn't like to win.
And look at the barns that this course has been passing through too, like
Everybody.
short barns, right? Like the really good claiming barns, Barbosa a couple times, David. These are very good claim barns. They've taken their shots. We'll see what kind of trip Spicy Guacamole can get. Yeah, you started with the 6, Girl Dynamite. Completely agree. I think that's probably the horse to beat. And I want the 5, Brenna, on my tickets as well. I think I prefer the 4 over the 2. Those are kind of the 2 horses that I didn't really know what to do with quite as much. But you very much talked about a live horse who might be maybe even the quickest, drawn to the outside in Slew Diva. So many directions you could go in a really tricky way to start this, where Girl Dynamite is a horse that Barry and I both want on the tickets. Barry mentions Slew Diva as well. And Brenna, one that we both want. I'm a little warmer on Spicy Guacamole than Barry is, but I'm also going to be including Slew Diva as well. So good luck. Race number 6, Gulfstream, kicks off that $1 coast-to-coast pick 5 on Friday. So this is about 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Then we head over to Santa Anita for race number 1. This first race at Santa Anita is a mile on the turf course, Barry. It's a 50 starter allowance. And some of the horses in here that I think will take a lot of money. I'm a Joker, who comes off a runner-up effort last time out in a similar type spot. That one will, get some support. Upcharge comes off of a win for D'Amato. Princess Snow is enough. It's just a small field, but it's hard to really dismiss anyone. Like, nobody would really be too crazy. Who are some of the horses that you gravitate towards and you really want?
Yeah, so I had the notion that there's not really much speed in this race.
I agree.
The 4, Princess Snow, seems to be the horse to beat, at least in my eyes. I know the 1 is 2-1 on the morning line, but being stuck on the rail probably isn't what I'm a Joker wants to do. This horse did this back in November of last year and got stuck on the rail on the red carpet, grade 3. Was forced to go to the lead and just didn't pop at all. And I think this is kind of the same sort of situation where you might have a horse in Princess Snow who might be faster anyway, get in front of this horse and create problems for I'm a Joker, because there's a potential this horse could get locked in between the 4 and the 2, who should probably be up close. And that would leave a horse like Upcharge kind of with the options. So I kind of gravitated toward the 4, Princess Snow, and the 3, Upcharge, and the rest, it just all depends. I mean, this race shape could go a lot of different ways, but I figured most of it would come from Princess Snow being on the front end.
Might be a race where I would single the 4. Just because it's a spread out. I think the money will spread out a little bit between these horses. I don't think a lot of people will single in this race. They might go 3 deep in a field of 6. And I agree with you. I just think Princess Snow looks like the one to catch. She fits pretty well at the level. She just ran into a sharp horse last time out in Wordplay, who won 3 in a row. The race in April at Santa Anita, going a mile show, she sat off a little bit and went, but she won't have to do that in here. I think she just gets the lead because nobody else is really as quick. And then when I got past her, the rest of them are kind of evenly matched for me. So I might single the 4, Barry. For me, the other 2 horses would be, honestly, the 6, who can sit kind of close. That's why I like her, because they're just not getting the same sort of trip she sat last time out. She could really fall into a pretty nice trip in this small field if she's just sitting second in here. And then I do respect I'm a Joker to come running, but in this small field, I think I want to take more of a stand with how I play this ticket. And I feel like I probably will single Princess Snow instead of going like 3 deep in here. So Barry and I both gravitate towards the one that looks like the main speed in here, Princess Snow, race 1 at Santa Anita. Anything else you want to hit on?
Yeah, I would probably go just 4 and 3 here.
For you?
I think Upcharge has a real shot, especially coming off the bench and running pretty good races and kind of comparable with what this horse was doing prior to layoff. So it wouldn't surprise me if let's say the 6
pushes the
Speaker pushes the outside and kind of forces the issue, and then the 1 maybe could get involved, and that could heat up the pace enough for Upcharge to be close enough, because this horse back was close enough at Del Mar to win a race like that. I think that race was a little bit weaker, but I still think this horse could be close. I think Kamaru will try to get within a couple lengths of the lead.
Some strong endorsements for Princess Snow. Barry also going to be using Upcharge. I got to figure out if I can get the 1 and the 6 in there based on the rest of the ticket, but certainly going to be keen around Princess Snow, and that'll be the top selection for me in this one. Race number 3 in this coast-to-coast pick 5 sequence, the third leg of the sequence, is race 7 from Gulfstream Park. This one, Barry, it's a maiden special weight race going 7 furlongs. And just kind of at first glance, on paper, a good amount of speed when you have the 2 Noble Sky, who flashed early speed. The 1, He's a Beast. He comes out of Florida bred races, but he faced some tough company. And I think with the rail draw, it kind of maybe will make him go a little faster than he wants to early on. You got Thought Control, who showed speed in his debut. Wouldn't be shocking to see a horse like Commendatore showing speed in here. And Skelling Michael wants to sit pretty close. So I could see them going quick in this race. Who are some of the horses that you like? How do you think this thing shapes up?
These races a lot of the times are dominated by Safi Joseph.
Yep.
I mean, if you follow Gulfstream, you see him unveil these kind of maidens quite often, throughout the whole year, really. And they're usually pretty live, especially the outside horse, Magic Red, really caught my eye. But I do see they're cross-centered in some other races, and there is that potential where one will run here and the other wouldn't. I would take either one of these horses that he has in this race, the 5 Thought Control or the outside horse, the 8 Magic Red. Skellig Michael seems logical here, but I'm not sure. These races, as this horse keeps accumulating starts, it's getting shaky and not trustworthy to take a horse like that. And in fact, I'd rather take a horse like number 3, Make Me Famous, over a horse like the 7.
So Skelling Michael could absolutely win the race, right? But
sure,
he really, really kind of hung last time out. I mean, it kind of quickly.
Yeah, he should have won that race.
So he's the 9 in this race, and he's getting a good trip. Like right here, the way he's looming up on the outside, like he loses to the 8. So that's the horse he just doesn't ever get by. This horse, like he looms up, and then right here he ends up hanging and smoking a pancake, battles back on the inside. Like right here, Skelling Michael's taking the lead, and he's got
right. He hangs on his left lead.
And maybe it was because he didn't like the off track as much, but he's got to go farther distance today.
I'm not buying that either. I think he just had every right to win that race and just didn't, and that's a bad sign coming back.
So I very much agree with you on the Safi horses. I like the 5 of the 2 of them. I think this is the one that's really, really quick. Got the lead, and that was at the tougher part of the Gulfstream Park meet when you're still dealing with some really nice horses around at that time. I want to make sure I'm using the 4 just in case they do all go quick. If there's this version of the race where the 1 and the 2 and the Safi 5 and the 6 are going, and even Michael Skelling is trying to be close, I think it could set up really well for the 4 horse, who just is a closer. This horse doesn't have any early speed, will have to come from way out of it, but could possibly get this trip. So I want to include him just in case, along with the 5. What do we do with the 1, Barry? Who, those are Florida bred races, but that horse he lost to in the debut was Flood Zone, who came right back to win the Gotham. So he ran into a horse who came back to beat Graded Stakes Company next time.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what to make of that first race, because he didn't come back well, and it was 80 cents on the dollar, didn't show up at all. I think he's just going to be a pace factor here. And the other thing is, I think Magic Red will definitely not try to force the pace here and stalk and pounce from the outside, which would be excellent, especially for a first-time starter. Seffi's horses can do it.
They can finish.
I think I really think the 8 is going to be tough to beat here. You got Zayas that goes to this horse. Um, he rides for Seffi a lot, and I'm sure he had his pick between the two of these horses. And the workout pattern also, the steady 48s, seem like this horse is going to be real tough on debut.
Magic Red, a horse that Barry likes, gives both of the Saffis a long look. I like the 5 Thought Control and the 4 Big Dividend. Keep an eye on Big Dividend if you're just sort of looking at the last 3 races too. The August 10th race at 7 furlongs, that was on a sloppy track, angled out. It was pouring rain that day. He was a little bit green, but he ran really, really well. And then in that most recent race, he was last of 6. He was about 8 lengths off. The top 2 totally separated, and he was the only horse that closed at all. I just hope he can get the type of trip he needs. If so, he will come closing. That is the middle part of the coast to coast. Pick 5. We move to race number 8 at Gulfstream Park. This is leg 4 of the sequence. Then we go back over to Santa Anita to close it out. Barry, we go mile on the turf course here. These are starter allowance, 25 starter allowance here. Man, I thought Burnaway from the inside is dropping in class, but you start going through the field, and Plain Champagne doesn't have turf form, but really fits at the level. Lady River Lily is coming out of races at Saratoga and has been facing like a lot tougher company as of late. Towards the outside, a horse like Zozukera is in really nice form right now. Was won back-to-back races, 7-5 on the morning line, and going to go first start off the claim for Jose D'Angelo. I think those are horses that'll take a lot of money. Who are you looking at in here?
One interesting horse is the 2, Plain Champagne. I think this horse, like typically in these kind of races, these star allowance races, you kind of, or at least I kind of gravitate to horses who have won at an open level at the highest level amongst the group. So that would actually end up being the one.
Yeah, I agree.
Way.
I do the same sort of thing. Who's faced the best, who's beat the best, and is kind of ending up back here.
Right, and those 2 $20,000 claimers, where he got claimed back to back, are really tough in this spot. But I think the 2 is flying a little bit under the radar. And I think this horse is a turf horse, not a synthetic horse. And they've been running this horse on the synthetic most of last year, really all except one
And you
race.
can't really use that race as any gauge because it came sandwiched by a layoff. Something
Correct.
went wrong that day. The horse didn't really fire, and
so he came back running.
Yeah.
He ran in June 2024, then came back in August and won 2 straight. And almost won a third.
And look at the horse. This is what you were kind of pointing out. The horse he lost to, Rachel Song, that's the same horse when you go back up and look at Burnaway. That Burnaway lost to going a mile on the turf in a first level allowance race. So from a class standpoint, very similar class levels. It's just, can this horse get to the turf? And we both think she can.
Yeah. I think this horse improved since the last time this horse ran on the turf. And I think going the longer distances is better. So this horse is finally getting to do what, quote unquote, she was supposed to do, go long on the turf. And I think that flying under the radar with no turf starts going this long will keep that price at 6-1. And I think it's a great price in a race like this.
This is a tricky one because the 9's logical. Like obvious, you've got a horse that's in good form and is now going to be moving to a new barn. But I do think the other horses are the 2 that we were just mentioning, the down inside horses, the 1 and the 2. For me, that's how I had this race stacked up. And the 3 was my wild card just coming out of the Saratoga races because I don't really know where she would fit with a group like this.
Yes.
Because she just faced way, way better.
But I will say, I'm going to definitely include the 7 Mary Marguerite in my wager. This horse in that last race on August 15th is probably the fastest horse on the engine, even faster than I Love Venezuela, who has a bunch of ones, but really, really, really slow paces up front. And I think Mary Marguerite is just going to get an easy lead. How far that horse can take him, I have no idea. But given this scenario and the price, I have to include that one on my ticket.
Mary Marguerite in the mix for Barry. I'll be a little more combos of 1, 2, and 9, possibly with throwing in the 3 on some deeper tickets. Barry will be including the
probably 1, 2, 7, and 9.
Probably 1, 2, 7, and 9 with Mary Marguerite as a price possibility. We finish up in race number 9. Barry, before we get to this one, give us a plug for the Notorious OTB podcast, which you've got going on with Chase Sessoms.
Yeah, we did a show today, the Keeneland show, for the QE2 day on Saturday. So it was a $100 budget. Went through that. We had some bets. I actually gave out a $5 pick 3 to end the card. So you might want to check that out. But yeah, man, we do some fun stuff over there. You should check us out.
Barry, we get into race number 9 to close things out. So this one is at Santa Anita, and we're going to be going to race number 3 at Santa Anita. It is a race where we look through and we see horses like Agency. I think we'll take a little bit of money. We have towards the outside. We're looking at Simplexity, I think, is another one who's going to be in the mix here. Better Days Coming is actually 2-1 on the morning line coming into the George Papadromo barn, and really does seem like a good fit at the level. Even Jetivator is another one who is probably going to, be taking some support out there. So not the easiest way to close out this coast to coast. Where do you want to go?
I'm going to be doing some sort of Floridian voodoo dance to try to get Zoffarelli in this race.
There we go.
I like this horse an awful lot.
And
I really wish if Zoffarelli gets in this race, I'm singling this horse. If you look at those last 3 races in procession, this horse is ready to pop and run a huge race on Saturday. Tomorrow. If they go on Sunday, I still probably will play this horse regardless. But I really would love to see this horse run in this spot because of this particular bet and the others. Beyond that, with the horses that are in the race, I think Agency probably will be kind of tough. This horse can be on the lead, sit right off it, finish his races off. Mike Smith usually knows what to do with these kind of horses and won't get in their way. The other one that kind of caught my eye was Commander, but that one likes to close quite a bit, and that's not really favorable from that one post position.
Barry, I very similarly with you in this one will be on the 2 Agency. Like if Zoffarelli gets in, I agree. Zoffarelli is a really interesting horse that I like. And Zoffarelli used to be like a real closer and now showed speed and now just has more versatility overall, which is key. I'm probably going to be just 2-7 here. I think to close things out, pretty formful. But I do really believe in the 2 Agency coming off of that, much, much tougher group last time out. Didn't get the best of trips there. Now you're going to put 2 starts together. You're going to get some class relief. Agency at 7-2, 2-7 for me. Barry agrees that the 2 Agency will be really tough. Hoping for the 9 to sneak in here.
Yeah, if the 9 doesn't get in, I'm probably going to do like you did with the 2 and 7. They kind of seem to stand out of this group.
Barry, my friend, fun chance to hit this coast-to-coast pick 5 on Friday. Don't forget, folks, about all of the different carryovers, Sunset 6 carryovers in the Santa Anita pick 6 and the Santa Anita Super High 5. We wish you the best of luck firing away at all the big races this weekend.
Play the popular coast-to-coast pick 5 and the new Sunset pick 6 featuring the last 3 races from
Gulfstream Park Santa Anita Farm. A $1 minimum.